all this stuff, you're dry brushing, you're doing the shake plate, you're doing everything, and you're still puffy, this is what you're missing. I love to do dry brushing. I have a lymphatic plate. I do it every single day, but this is what turned my lymphatic flow around. This is where I knew I had an issue. I had a lot of puffiness right here around my clavicle. I had swollen lymph nodes, which is also a sign of congestion. You have sinus pressure, you have swollen lymph nodes. I had some swollen lymph nodes, even all the way down to my stomach, just in my armpits. My legs were really puffy. The other thing, at the end of the day, my ankles were really puffy. It's like I started off good, and then towards the later in the evening, I had cankles. This is what I needed. So when the lymph is congested, that's when you start getting swollen lymph nodes. You have a lot of pain, you have a lot of inflammation. This is going to help break that up. But the other thing is that there's some ingredients in here, like the burdock the root and the spirulina and the sea moss and chlorella. Those specifically come in to help detoxify your liver. So when your liver gets congested, that's where you start to have the backup of lymph. Most people only think of lymph when they have like a cold or a strep throat, but your lymph nodes are working 24/7 to help you process trash. When your body can't process the trash, it holds toxins. That's where the swollen lymph nodes come in. That's where the pain and inflammation come in, especially for females. One thing I always like to say, the way you know that you have an armpit or an arm puff, if you are swollen or inflamed, is if you lift up your arm and you don't have that indentation. So you can see right now I'm a little bit puffy. If you don't have that indentation, and let's say it's just puffed out like this, you have an arm puff, you need this. If you have an armpit like this, that means you're moving lymph. Those are some of the things. Also, another thing I noticed is that I don't have to wear deodorant, which sounds very interesting, but I don't need deodorant because I'm not gathering a bunch of bacteria. I'm not gathering a bunch of lymph. I don't have swollen lymph nodes around my chest, around my body. That makes a huge difference. So a lot of the times that you're having endurance levels that are not good, you're having brain fog, you're having congestion, a lot of sinus headaches. Another thing is because your termini is clogged up. So bringing this in is going to be helpful because sometimes you're doing all the things that you found on TikTok, but you don't have the foundational pieces, right? The other thing I want to show you is if you're taking this, yes, we love the supplement, but there's also something practical you can do. So you're going to find your lymph nodes by lifting up your clavicle, sticking your finger in there. This is called pumping your termini. This is going to help, but this is going to be the basis. You're going to pump your termini right here. Make sure you do that before this, and that's going to start moving all that lymph, right? We all know on social media how you brush your body, you do all these things, but this is going to help you move the toxins. The other thing is you have to drink plenty of water. If you just take this, you're going to see results, but if you take in more water, just think of it actually flushing out the toxins. The worst thing you want to do is then take this and not take enough water because you're just going to be recirculating the toxins. So this is lymphatic drainage support. If you do any type of detoxification, if you manage chronic illness, for example, I have an ileostomy, so I have to make sure that my bowels and my stomach and everything is moving. The other thing is diagnosis of endometriosis, chronic systemic inflammation. So if you deal with pain and you deal with inflammation, this is what you're looking for.